Hello and welcome. I am here to share with you about one of my favorite tech tools, even before distance learning, virtual learning, hybrid learning, whatever. But afterwards, it became so much more useful, especially if you are a person who does roomies and zoomies. I think you're going to love it. So let's get right into Pear Deck. So Pear Deck is a tool from Microsoft that essentially allows your students to move through a presentation along with you and complete interactive tasks as you go. So I'm just scrolling over their homepage and I'll give you a quick demo of how it works from them. I skipped ahead a little bit, but you can see the teacher is projecting something here and the students are interacting there. Essentially, what you have on your screen, the students will have something related to it to participate in your lesson and do learning checks in and along the way. And these can be social emotional, they can be content based. It's really one of those things where your imagination is what limits this tool. So let's talk about kind of the nitty gritty. The way that it works is once you've created your presentation and click start, it will send the students to a code to join in. Very similar to Kahoot, Gimkit, Quizlet.Live. This is what that page looks like for students. So they'll just see this where it says enter code, and what you'll have on the screen is a, like join peardeck.com or whatever it is, and then a bunch of. How can we use this tool in our language classes, and why is it something that I'm so excited about? I'm going to pull up a couple of examples for you, and hopefully it's going to get your brain going, oh, yeah, I could totally use this. So let's check those out. So this is an example from Pear Deck. What you do is you would present this or, start it with Pear Deck and send your students the code. And it's for an end of lesson, so like a comprehension check, wrap up, exit ticket, exit slip, whatever, right? Write the most important thing from today's lesson. Circle how you're feeling with today's content. How would you explain this to a friend who wasn't here? Draw or type two things that you learned in today's lesson, right? Just really quick checks that you could use as an exit ticket. So one example for how you get started. Of course, you could switch this to be in Spanish instead of being in English. They're very easy to edit. Let's look at another example, only this is probably one you would do at the beginning of class. They're just variations on like silly meme ways to check in with your students. So, ¿cómo estás? Or how are you? And they respond with a number. And then you discuss. Right? Again, really simple, really quick, just fun way to check in with your students. So now we're going to get into some Spanish or language learning examples specifically. And this example is from Stacy. So here students are just picking, right, this one or this one, this one or this one. And what a great way to give them a lot of input with your vocabulary set, right? So if you have this, this, or this, they're looking at the pictures and they're saying, oh, I like this one the most. Do you like this or yes or no, right? So you're giving them lots of different ways to interact with the language. Lots of different ways to explore. So there's an example for how you can start to build this into your lessons now. Let's look at another one. Okay, this example is from Kelly, and I love it. I love weekend chat is a great way to kind of slowly introduce preterite with your students. And again, look at all these examples. Did you do this? Yes or no? Did you do this? Yes or no? Visuals are here. Super easy way for students to just respond while getting this practice, and you're building that classroom community, you're building those relationships with your students because they're sharing about their personal lives, they're sharing about their interests. Look at all these different things that you can talk with. So this example is from Abby, and she has it titled as a warm-up, so you can see it's just meant to be a very brief activity as a review of what they've been doing at Activo Sincere. So you can see she has a photo, and then she's just asking, ¿Cómo es ella? And down in the bottom here, you can see it says students choose an option. So when students are interacting with this, they're going to see a multiple choice response. So they're a little bit more supported in this kind of review activity before she's continuing on with the rest of her lesson, right? ¿Cómo soy yo? ¿Cómo eres tú? And the students have an option to write their response. So now we're building into something a little bit more open-ended for them, right, all the way through. This is a great option to review and practice. Look at the subject change, she's highlighting that. So hopefully this gives you some ideas of how you can use it in your own classroom. And I have something exciting to share with you. So excited to share with you. We've been working hard to build a library of resources of Pear Decks that are already made. So all of those examples that I showed you were pulled from here, and you can grab them from these links. So where it says, please paste the share link here, you can just click on it, grab it, and use it for your own students. You can make a copy of it and edit it, whatever you need to do. So you can see it says language use level, grade level, topic, theme, and then the share link. And then also Pear Deck is a freemium model. So there are things you can do for free and there's things you can do with the paid upgrades. So I did just ask, in case you don't have the paid version and you're not planning on upgrading, there are ones that note, if they use the free or the paid version. So that way, if you only have free, you can just use the free ones, or okay, this one has paid options used. I'm going to have to tweak some of them so that way it doesn't include those, just so that you are aware. And then you can scroll through here and look. You can see here are all different topics that people have added already. And how do you find this? Let me show you where you can go to access this spreadsheet or to contribute to this spreadsheet in case you want to help us. So if you go to seniorlytospanish.com, you can either, right up on the top, there's this search bar here, and you can just type in Pear Deck, and it'll pull it right up. And there's some tutorials here in case you wanted to see a little bit more how to create a Pear Deck. What does it look like from a student perspective? I love when I get to see a student perspective, so I thought this this IGTV was incredibly helpful for that. And if you want a little bit of a walkthrough from the teacher perspective, also there, so those are very helpful tutorials. Okay, this is where you can click to add things to the library. So if you're like, yes, I love this idea, I really think that adding decks to the library would be very helpful, both for me and for others, this is where you can click to add decks to the library. And if you're like, I just really need a lesson for right now, here is where you can click to access that spreadsheet of Pear Decks that are ready to use. So there you have it. That is some background on Pear Deck and how you might be able to use it. And now you know where you can find a whole bunch of already made Pear Decks and where you can add your own Pear Decks that you've made to try and help some other teachers out. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. I would love to hear from you. Have a great rest of your day.